Pretoria's splinters struggle to rebuild. Portionnaire makes her move for Pretoria's secrets. Shapeshifters summoned from the plane of chaos feast on flesh and memories, while the mages of the Conclave Arcana scour the 7 territories. Few will stand against them, but it won't be enough. That's where you come in. You and your cards. Like all new archons that grant you dominion over bloodlines. Dwarves, elves, gnomes, orcs, and Lund. Craft midnight potions in the Artisan Quarter for a shot at new ultra-rare foils. Flex your collection in battle and earn bigger rewards. The Conclave Arcana awaits. Do you have what it takes?
What is up, Pretoria? It is the Splinterlands Town Hall 2026 edition, coming at you from a brand new year. The team, I feel like, didn't really take that much of a break over the holidays. Still lots of cool stuff coming out, new avatar things, and we're working hard on all the things coming up for 2026, which we are going to get into deeply in this town hall. So we got most of the usual crew here. We got Dave, we got Blaze, we got Investigator. Nate's looking a little different tonight. He couldn't be here. I believe it is his anniversary, or he's away for his anniversary. Many of you here in the Splinterlands land have also interacted with Mrs. Nate, and we love her around here. So we hope that they're having a very fun evening. But we got Alfredo here in his place, who's going to be giving you some eye candy and our creative update tonight. So without further ado, I'll start it off as we usually do. I'll jump over to Investigator to tell us what they've been working on, over the holidays.
Yeah, it seems like there was barely any break there. But most of the things that we're working on, I think, are things that people who follow the game are probably familiar with. So the Escalation mini set is in progress and should be out, I believe, in pre-release on February 10th was already announced as the date. As long as nothing happens, that should probably still be true. We are also working on the revamped survival format per the past proposal from 2025. So that is in progress, and we hope that it will be out soon. Aside from that, we've been doing some cleanup, a lot of little fixes for the avatars and weird edge case things that people may not have probably even noticed, but trying to polish that up a little bit more and the site in general. One thing that got almost launched last year, but ended up is coming out in 2026 now. We should be having the Splinter vibes coming back into the game and having some distribution methods as well as a new global player for them. Also coming out probably fairly soon. So that's the short-term updates. The support site also got a little bit of a facelift recently. As always, if you have any feedback or have any issues, make sure to click the question mark in the game and go to the support site, or use the little chatbot if you're on desktop. And yeah, that's most of what's coming up in the very near term. I know we've got a bunch of longer term projects that you guys will be talking about probably in more depth. So that's the short term update.
Awesome. Thanks, Investy. Yeah, we're definitely going to get into some of the other longer term, bigger projects around here. I don't know. Should we jump to Blaze and Dave for how things are going on the marketing and promotion and retention front?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, it's action packed as usual here. It's been been fun building and doing things with the community and all kinds of action-packed events happening. Speaking of, just a quick heads up: After Sound, Lorcas, and Tails are hosting a 4-tournament series running every Thursday. The first Thursday was last week, or the first tournament was last week. The second tournament starts in a few hours, so it may overlap here depending on when we end. So head over to the upcoming events and sign up now. Exemplars are activated, and it's a ghost card tournament, so you don't have excuses. So go ahead and sign up and win some prizes.
Nice, yeah. I think the exemplar tournaments are exciting, and that's just a little taste of what's to come with exemplars, for sure.
Exactly. It's just the start, and it's fun. I think Bulldog did one. We did one the first week it came out, and yeah, it's fun to see everybody participating. And then also, the exemplars escalating. Right, they're getting strong. Some of them are pretty nasty. So fun to see those come together. I think I'm at like level 32 or something, but I haven't put a lot of energy into it. Just haven't had the time. But yeah, things are going well. So yeah, head over to the tournaments and sign up. I think there was like 56 last I checked signed up. So get in there. I'd say over the past 30 days, we've averaged just over 100 users signing up per day. Nothing to brag about. Once we focus on improving the key areas to help. And that's our focus right now. It's just improving some areas to help with that retention. The new player experiences our focus right now. Not saying we're not from the marketing angle. Not saying we're not doing anything, but we're being very selective and not spending money on advertising until we get those numbers dialed in. The retention is our biggest priority right now. The team is actively working on a number of changes and new features to improve the funnel. We're looking at where it's dropping off and what we can do to improve, allow other gateways for people to get in quicker. And bring in some more entertainment into the game. We're talking spinning wheels and all. So we're going to bring in some fun to help it right off the bat to get that daily engagement up. And bottom line is we need those new players to stick. So we've got a lot to do. The team keeps cranking out work. So many new things are about to hit, as Harry mentioned a few right now. But there's just, a lot happening, a lot coming together. Survival mode's going to be huge when that comes out. So looking forward to getting the details there. And then once we get those all up and running, then we can focus on new modes that are in the works too. So again, a lot going on. Honestly, I've never seen so many spec sheets at once. I think we're all working on spec sheets right now, in addition to the work on the progress of the ongoing projects. So again, a lot going on. Kudos to the team. They're doing a great job. Royal building out some fun cards. We're doing some new things. So again, action packed. Let's see. Good.
I was going to say, why don't you talk about the pack attack, what you're doing there and why, also maybe how that relates to the end of the sale and why.
It's on my list. Yeah, it's on my list. Give me a second here. Let me drop. I'm just going to drop in the chat here. Let me pull up. Dave, feel free to chime in. I want to head over to the town hall chat and drop a couple of images. Where we at here? Town hall.
No, I'll let you do your thing, man.
Okay.
But I will point out, in case Blaze does forget to point out, the number of arcanes and the special cards like Yabba's card in the packs, those are fixed. So far, we've given out 10% of those cards. There's still 90% to be given out. And a lot of people may not know how that mechanic works, but essentially it works by all those cards are going to be given out in whatever packs are remaining. So we're getting near the end. So as we keep burning packs, the odds keep going up of getting those cards. So at the very end, it's going to be pretty exciting because it's already down. I think Jeff opens cards, keeps a spreadsheet, so he keeps me up to date on what the numbers are. And I think the last time I saw it it's like 1 in every $1,200 that you spend. So one in about but that's $1,200 at pegs. So it'd be every 300 packs. So like he's keeping track of that. Don't use my math, but go do the math and realize that every day that goes by over the next 2 months, it's going to get, more odds and more odds of getting, one of the arcanes or the super special rare card.
Yeah, looking forward to it. It's already. I love seeing the feed. Somebody pulled 2 cards earlier, so I dropped in the chat season 173 and 174. So the last 2 seasons, and the last one is the latest. So there was a nice bump there. So, and I think our new Frontier jackpot cards are pretty cool. They definitely helped increase engagement. The community is out on social flexing, driving up organic growth. So that's awesome to see the everybody showing off. They're good stuff. They're fun cards. I just had a chance to test out those jackpot cards at max level on another project we're working on. So yeah, great cards, and good to see you guys pulling them already. The Winter Fest gift boxes generated about 30,000 in sales. It was awesome. Thanks for all who participated. We hope you enjoyed. In the near future, we'll be using a similar model for upcoming starter and booster kits, giving new players more options from the start. So yeah, more details on that soon. The Avatar Shop, frames and backgrounds. We launched the Avatar Shop as a low-risk test. 316 items to date were sold across the DEC and Glint items. Nothing crazy, but again, it's a good response early, and it shows the demand is there for cosmetics, and we can expand on that over time. See, with the Clink partnership, that's currently on pause as we do some tweaks to knock out what I talked about earlier for the new player experience, and we'll circle back to it once things are dialed in. Yeah, Painforge, we teamed up a couple of weeks ago and did the pack attack with Clay and Kind of Crypto. That was super fun. Ripping packs, pulling black foils. The community joined us as well. I think that weekend we sold over $10,000 worth of packs. So really cool, really fun. Played Earn continues to feature Splinterlands organically, getting thousands of eyeballs on our game. We're already in active discussions with them to make the best possible use of our $5,000 in ad credits that we won last month. So let's keep at it. We're making good progress. And then lastly, Escalation. Alfredo's going to be sharing some more stuff, but I do have an incomplete card that I sent yesterday during the DAO haul yesterday. Let me find the image here, and I'll give you guys the complete card. And mind you, this is just a common card, nothing special. Drop it in here. And there's the final stats on that big boy. So Bob wanted some giants in the game, and we delivered. And these things are pretty fun. So hope you guys have a blast with them. And in addition, I do have a little tease. There's a little clip for you guys to watch. Just get excited with the animated logo, one of the many options that we're going to be teasing with. And yeah, no, super excited, looking forward to it. Tomorrow I'll be getting all the art together and working with the influencers to help distribute the cards, and we'll see how it plays out. I'm not sure what you guys will see tomorrow, but definitely they will have pictures of the cards, and then I'll be rolling out the stats and the full load to them over the weekend. So it's gonna be fun.
So that's a common card, huh?
That is a common card.
Oh, it should be a banger. The set.
Yeah, it packs a punch, and it's a really fun card to play. Again, nobody's seen Conclave Arcana to its fullest in action, and with the new green card dropping here soon, Jeff's card's already causing damage. You've seen some posts circulating, and I love Arvino and Tails. You guys are getting videos out there, so non-Splinterlands players can see what all the hype's about. And it's really cool to see those videos circulating online. And I'm watching Jeff's card in action. I think they had the attack at like 17 on Venka. It was pretty wild out there. But yeah, that's, again, the green one's coming up. That one's super fun. Beaver gets a lot of action in that game. And then the next 3 are just really off the charts. So in addition, the ones that are coming out with Escalation, they are not like competing with the ones from Conclave Arcana. The synergy works quite well. The team did a banger job on those, and it just rounds out the whole picture, and it's years of entertainment. Not only that, like, we test thoroughly in Modern. Maybe we should do some more testing in Wild, because that gets pretty crazy too. So yeah, no, it's everything's coming together. It's just one day at a time here. We're going to keep on plowing through our tasks and delivering a great product. So
It's called Wild for a reason. So
yeah, for sure.
Dave, anything you wanted to add? Or, I mean, you can also feel free to jump in at any point.
Yeah, I'll just wait. I don't need to say anything. I know you're going to be talking about a lot of new things that we're doing, so
Yeah.
I may add in on that. Let's get to Alfredo. I'm dying to hear what Alfredo's got to say.
Yeah.
Let me drop
the
one
floor
last
is
thing
yours.
before we get them.
Oh, not yet.
I was listening to Aftersound, and he said, like, when are we going to get out there and do PR and connect up with other blockchains and start spreading the word about Splinterlands? That is on our agenda for 2026. 2025, we've had, again, we're looking at retention and we're calculating how can we fix this. So we're working on, once we get that fixed, we'll really lean in heavy on that. And then that's going to happen soon, because, again, a lot of loose ends with survival mode, a couple of tweaks we're doing for the new player, and it's all coming together. And I think within the next 30 days, we're going to be able to get a nice runway going for cross-chain promotions and all that kind of fun stuff.
But also, one thing that, like, sometimes I hear people like wonder, like, what are you guys doing on marketing? But you went out and you got I forget the name of the company that voted as the best blockchain game in Web3. Like,
Play to earn.
You did that, right? Like, you got a hold of them and you worked with them and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's just one of many things we're doing. But yeah, there's a lot going on. But the community actually did that, right? We put it out there, but the community came through and voted and then put us in the #1 spot. So that was super fun. And just a heads up, like, we want to tackle many categories this year. The year before we took second, this year we took first. Now we go for other categories. So
Cool.
All right. Now let's jump to Alfredo. What do you got for us tonight?
Hey guys. Well, since we were talking about escalation, let's start with a couple of characters. So let me drop this one. I intentionally left the name of the characters or the cards out of the name of the image, so you guys can guess if you want. Try to guess, but here's the first one. Is it on screen? So
Yep, it's there.
This is an orc, which I believe it's crystal orcs. We don't have many of those in the game still. I believe one or maybe none. But yeah, it's obviously ranged. Maybe we'll see. Sorry. So there it is. All right, so that's the first one. Hope you like it. One of the
She's in death. Is that right?
She's what? Sorry?
She's in death. She's in the death splinter.
Yes. Of course, the element is represented by the background there. And let me drop another one. So this one is neutral. And here we go. So there is something, there is a reason why I chose those two characters to share on this town hall. Does anyone want to guess what is the thing that unites those two? The thing that is representative of both of these characters?
I hope that's not directed at me or us because I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't either. So
It's
Blaze probably
I
knows.
just chose those two because they're pink. So
Ah,
the that gives me the cue to jump to the next eye candy that I want to share, and it's about the next holiday that we are having in the game, and it's for our version of Valentine's, which the name is Amorendel. So this is a very important aspect of this town hall to share, because Nate's not here, right? Nate's not here because it's his wedding anniversary. So whenever he sees this, I would like to say just congratulations to Nate's wife and Nate, of course. So let me get serious here. This is from my wife. So let's begin with the Amorendel or Valentine's eye candy.
I didn't know we were doing props and stuff. See,
Yeah.
you know, Alfredo comes on, it's just full of surprises.
Let's begin with fire. All right. So I actually can't see it well. So let me take those off.
Nice.
So I'm sure you guys can recognize the characters here. So we have Aridam Greybrow. I hope I will pronounce every name correctly, or I will have to apologize with Joey. But
Dude,
yeah,
none of us
that's the
pronounce the
first
card
one.
names correctly, so
Yeah, I know. So beginning with Fire One, then this next character is one that I particularly like a lot. At least the original art is one of my personal favorites in the game. So now we're having two versions. All right. Before we continue, I would like to share with the audience a little bit of the process that we are following each holiday now with the glamours or the skins. So basically, we start with an obvious concept like Valentine's, Christmas, or Halloween. So that's done. And then Joey comes up with the names, or it's basically two concepts. Of course, you guys already know that we have a basic glamour for each character, a basic version, and then a premium version or a better version. And they both are linked to one concept. So in this time around, for Amorendale, we have as first concept just sweetheart. So these two glamours, these two skins that I already shared, and actually all the glamours that I will be sharing as eye candy are from the sweetheart version. So it's the basic versions of the glamours. All right. So once we have the name and the general concept, I come up with a list of ideas for the chosen characters and chosen cards, and then hand that over to our artists who then add from their own imagination and get all this extra flavor to the concepts. So that's a process. So now that I was able to share that with you guys, let me share this Earth one. Oh, there. So as you can see, we're of course leaning a lot on color here, a lot of pinks like our escalation characters, a lot of red, a bit of white here and there, and I will just share just a couple of other glamours. Hope you guys like it. Or Calamity.
Cool.
That's a cool one.
Yeah. But as I told you, yep. Yeah. This one, since the characters is based on an axolotl, we wanted to go with a pink version of one, which is one of the more traditional, I guess, more usual color of axolotls is pink, either pink or black. So that was a very good choice and a very good option for a Morandel.
It looks like it's got a frilly dress on there.
Yeah, a little bit.
I've never seen an axolotl with a frilly dress before.
We just tried to tone down a little bit on the details and the vibrant colors, but I think it looks very good. But of course, for each one of these and some other characters, we still have the other version, right? The premium version. For the last character I'm sharing this town hall today, we have this one. Can you guys recognize him? It's Bren Palesworn. So for this character, we still don't have glamours, but sometimes we usually in creative try to work on at least one extra glamour for each character. We try to balance the art creation process, but since this character is a shapeshifter, we have more freedom here. So the original version, of course, it's a human, but for a Morandel, at least for the base version, it's an elf. And we are playing a little bit more with the other versions, so you'll get to see at least really soon the premium version, which I really like the premium versions. Previously, I told you the name of the basic one, which is Sweetheart, and I will just share with you guys the name of the premium version, or the second one, which is Obsessive.
Nice.
I haven't seen those either, so I'm looking forward to it as much as everyone here.
So all those Alfredo are all the Sweetheart version that you shared. We have not seen the Obsessive. Is that what it was?
Yeah, none of these is the Obsessive version.
Wow.
Okay.
Those all
It's
look
just
great.
Sweetheart.
So those aren't. Yeah. Good job.
You guys will have to stay tuned for those. Valentine's Day is not too far away, about a month. So those will be coming up.
Yeah, about 2 weeks. about 2 weeks. We'll start it on the first, the season of February 14th, which will start on February 1st. So get your client ready.
All right. Anything else you wanted to show or talk about, Alfredo?
No, that's
Okay.
it for today.
Those are awesome. Definitely looking forward to those. I might tell my wife I got her a nice sweetheart Valentine's Day gift, and then she's gonna be like, "What the hell's this?" And then I'll use them for my characters, so it's a win-win. But yeah, definitely for those of you who are lucky enough to have significant others that are also Splinterlands players, now's your time. Get your glint ready because they're coming. Thank you very much, Alfredo, for stepping in for Mr. Nate tonight, who is celebrating even before the skins are launched. But he'll be back, I'm sure, for next month. All right. I am gonna jump into talking about. Yeah, I think so, Ron. I think we're good
Well,
with
see,
creative.
see if Alfredo wants to take off and say bye to everybody. You want to get going, Alfredo?
Yeah. Thank you so much, guys, for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming, man.
Yeah, thanks. I really appreciate it. Thanks for showing all that, and thanks for all your work and getting this stuff made. It looks awesome.
Yeah, Alfredo is the best, in case you guys didn't know.
Alfredo.
All right. I was going to jump into talking about kind of our roadmap. I kind of plan for roughly the first 6 months of the year. It's hard to even plan for that that far out. So, someone asked in the town hall channel, what's the roadmap? I don't think we've really put out an official roadmap, but it's just here are the kind of high priority items we have on our plate right now. I put them out. I forgot survival mode updates. It's happening. It's in process. It's going to be one of the first things on the list to be released. I just forgot it. My bad. But yeah, we have escalation. Obviously, I think everyone here should know about that. February 10th, the pre-sale starts. It is going to be very unusual in the pricing model. For those of you who don't know, there was a DAO proposal where the DAO paid the company upfront for the development, and the set is effectively going to be priced in SPS tokens. So that means a fixed amount of SPS tokens per pack, regardless of the price of SPS tokens. So based on the current market prices, you will be able to get those packs if you use SPS tokens for significantly cheaper than you may have been able to get other packs in the past. If you're not able or don't want to get SPS tokens for some reason, you will also be able to buy it with DEC and even stable coins directly, but you may not be able to get the discount that's available for SPS. So the goal really is to give a very direct and obvious use case for SPS. I think we've already seen the price start to reflect some people getting ready for the upcoming sale. But I've typically found that, despite that, a lot of people still wait to the last minute. So we're going to see what happens in less than a month at this point. So if you didn't know that and you want to get in on the new set, get your SPS ready. And I should mention that I think, Dave, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe all of the packs that are going to be sold, 500,000, are going to be available in the pre-sale. So it is possible that they could sell out. So, if you want to get them, no reason to wait. Jump on that. There's going to be additional pre-sale goodies and promo cards and all that stuff like we typically do. So yeah, again, no reason to wait. If you want to get them, get your SPS ready, and get in on that. Next thing, obviously, survival mode updates. There was a DAO proposal suggesting, a new way that we handle survival mode. That was a while ago at this point. The team had other priorities, but we are in the process of working on that right now. And as I think Investigator said, it should be ready soon. So keep a lookout for that. I also really like survival mode, so I'm looking forward to see how that works. I think we're also working on cooldown potions craftable with land resources. that should be able to be used not only for survival mode cards, but also for land cards to be able to move them between plots without the 3-day cooldown. That's a little, side thing that's related that we're working on. I think Cryptomancer is actively working on that right now. Another thing that I've been kind of heads down working on with some of the rest of the team is designing the new single player campaigns in campaign mode. We always said that when we released campaign mode, it was not just going to be the new player campaign to teach you how to play, but just a general PvE experience that should be fun for everyone. The first new campaigns that we're planning to do are going to be boss monster fights. So, for those of you who don't know, back in 2018, the first year of the game's launch, the Aggroed did, I think it was an auction to 6 people to be able to design a boss monster in the game. And 7 years later, we are finally, even a little more than 7 years later, we are finally going to be starting to put in those boss monsters that everyone will be able to play in a PvE experience. It is going to allow your exemplar, and not just allow your exemplars, it's pretty much going to probably require a decent exemplar in order to be able to be competitive in this. What I'm thinking, again, this is very early in the design process, but is that it's not just, oh, you go fight a boss monster and you beat it and that's done. The idea is that you fight it, you beat it, but then it levels up and gets harder, and you can fight it again. And then if you beat it, it levels up and gets harder. And this can go infinitely effectively, as the stats can just increase infinitely. And then we can have a leaderboard to see who has managed to defeat the boss monster at the highest possible level. There, of course, are going to be pretty cool prizes that you are all going to want. So I know some people were like, oh, exemplars are kind of cool, but I'm not putting a bunch of glint into it just for a few tournaments here and there. Well, this is probably going to be the first thing where having a high-level exemplar is going to really come into play, because you're just not going to be able to beat these boss monsters at any reasonably high level just using your regular cards. So it's going to be where we get hopefully these crazy high-level exemplars with all sorts of crazy stats and like 0 mana or whatever they're going to be. And people can battle for the leaderboard spots and the top leaderboard prizes. There's going to be a bunch of other details that we're still working out, but that's the high-level plan for the new single-player campaigns, which are the boss monster fights. So that's one thing that we're working on. Somewhat related, we are working on a guild overhaul, which we have also talked about for a long time. Blaze mentioned that we're doing a good job of getting players in the door, but retention has been low. One of the things that I think is the biggest drivers of retention in lots of other, traditional games is guilds being in a group with other players that depend on you. Our guild system currently is not very focused on that, and it's great for our, existing players who have huge decks and collections. A lot of that's going to change. We're going to make guilds, a big part of the onboarding experience is going to be making sure people join a guild, making sure people at every level of the game can actively contribute to guilds. And they don't have to like put in money or do anything, but just by actively playing every day and participating in the game, they'll be able to help their guild and benefit from all their other guild members also doing that. The guild overhaul is also going to include a completely new guild brawl system, which also kind of early in the design process, but I'll give you guys an overview of what I'm thinking and what we've kind of discussed internally is instead of just like a 1v1 matchup, which is how brawls and tournaments and ranked is now. I'm thinking more of a defender attacker type setup where everybody, basically every guild is assigned a certain amount of rewards, SPS, glint, merits, all the different things that are involved. And everyone has to set up a team to defend your guild's, rewards. And then after the defense phase, everyone sets up their defender teams. We have everybody then go into attacking phase, and everyone might have a certain number of attacks, say 3, 4, 5, whatever it is in the brawl. And you'll get to actually look at all the defenders and see their teams and choose who you want to attack and then design your team to try to beat them. So the defenders are going to have a lot of benefits. They'll have, increased mana. They'll have all sorts of other things. So it's, instead of the current game, which is sort of like guess what your opponent might do, or just like put out what cards you think are the best, it's going to be more of look at the team and figure out how you can beat it. And then obviously, the amount of rewards you get are going to depend on the strength of the defending team. If it's defeated a bunch of attackers, then it'll have a higher bounty sort of to beat it. So we want this to be a much more like, I guess, like, it's just a different way of playing the game. I look at it, so not just kind of randomly picking your cards based on the rule sets, but actually like looking at teams that are already on the field, figuring out how to try to beat them. And there's going to be all sorts of other things involved in that. Exemplars, again, are going to be a large part of that. So you will be able to use your exemplars both as defending and attacking teams. So if you don't level up your exemplars, you're going to be at a disadvantage because those are going to be pretty important in this. We're going to make sure to have different phrase and different things to ensure that players are battling against other players of reasonable collections and skill level and all that. That's kind of the direction we're going for the guild overhaul, and the kind of the reasoning behind all this is I was going towards more like a Clash of Clans style, which I think is good, especially in something where it's asynchronous. So it's still PvP. You're battling other players, but it's like they don't have to be on at the same time. So it's like every player sets up their defense, and then the other players get to attack it. So I think that's going to be really great for guild brawls. Land, we are working on Land 2.0. So, I'm sure a bunch of things are going to change in the white paper. Some things have already changed. Cryptomancer, as part of the project, is going to be making sure the white paper is updated. But in general, we are working towards that goal. The Cryptomancer is going to start working on buildings. So we currently have work sites. The plan is that work sites are going to stay as they are. They're not going to change. And we are going to additionally add buildings. And the idea is that work sites are going to be how resources are extracted from the environment. Things like grain and ore, that's extracted from the land. Even in the future, things like the magical resources and the occupied plots. Those are all work sites. Those are things that are harvested from the environment. They're going to stay the same. Buildings are going to be for everything else, basically all the like second and third, et cetera, layer things. So all the refined resources, all the things that you craft are going to be the buildings. So and that's going to work a bit differently. The process for using buildings to produce resources is going to be a bit different. We're going to include the ability for people to rent out their buildings for other people to use, if for people who don't have that building and want to produce the resources. All that type of stuff. We're kind of going through everything, figuring out what can be done. Can we release things in phases so it doesn't take too long? That's pretty early on, but we're going toward buildings, and then that leads to all the other resources basically in the white paper. The goal there is once, and this has been the goal from Land from day one, is we have lots of different things, lots of different resources, and that most everybody is not going to be able to produce all the resources themselves. So people should be encouraged to try to focus on a certain thing. And then for everything that they need for that, they trade on the market. The more trading we have in the internal markets on land, the more rewards there's going to be for liquidity providers. And that means it's going to encourage more people to provide liquidity, which locks up resources in DEC tokens. And again, hopefully we get a flywheel effect. So anyone who's playing a drinking game can take one, because I just said flywheel. But that's what we're going for there. I should mention also that we're looking at, changing up how the buildings work as far as the workers on them. Right now, there's obviously a huge advantage in the work sites for the players that have the gold foil alpha legendary cards, and that was by design. A big part of Land was to give value to the older cards. But for buildings are not going to get the benefits from the plot rarity, right? The plot rarity basically means it's very rich in whatever resource comes from the environment, but the buildings are not from the environment, so the plot rarity doesn't matter. So people who have common plots are probably going to want to use those for buildings rather than resource extraction. And so it doesn't matter if someone has a bunch of legendary plots as far as buildings are concerned. They'll be on the same footing. So we're going to looking at allowing people to put a lot more worker cards on buildings, for example. So if you only have 5,000 production power cards, you may be able to put a lot more of them on and max out the production power of a building without having to get 20,000 production power cards, which can be extremely expensive. So the work sites are planned to stay the same, which means all the advantages that currently exist there will stay. The alpha legendaries and all that will still be very advantageous for those. But the buildings are going to really open up, I think, all the common plots, a lot of the unused plots, and also hopefully encourage people to stake even more cards, because if you can do more than 5 worker cards on the buildings, hopefully we'll get even more cards, probably a lot of Chaos Legion cards going on new buildings. So I think obviously it's a big project. We're going to do it as quickly as we can and try to get pieces out as quickly as we can in ways that make sense. But that's the focus, and I think just getting all those additional resources out and additional things you can build with them out is going to be a huge deal. And then once the concept of buildings is done, like once we even have one working building, hopefully that can be, it'd be very easy to then start releasing more and more buildings as we have more and more things to produce, because they'll all kind of work the same, the concept. So yeah, this is hopefully going to be the big year for land, where we really see it, kind of reach close to its potential. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in a second also. Then the last thing for major projects on our roadmap right now is going to be the next major set, which I believe is going to be called the Battle for Praetoria. The team is starting to design that right now. We plan to include some interesting new game mechanics with that. The last set featured new card types with the black foils and the arcanes, and the new pack types. We're planning to still have those, obviously. And this one's going to add new kind of game mechanics like we did previously with the tactics. So I don't have as much to share on that right now. That's a little further down the road, but that's kind of the last major thing. And then one thing I also wanted to talk about that goes for all of the stuff I just talked about pretty much is that a focus is going to be land craftable consumables as part of all these things. So you guys have started to see that already. We got unbinding scrolls, we got wagon kits, there's all sorts of stuff in the artisan quarter. So pretty much everything we make, we talked about with survival mode and the Phoenix Ash to reduce the cooldowns. There's going to be consumables that you can use for advantages in the single player campaigns at the boss monster fights. There's going to be consumables in the new guild brawls and the guild overhaul in general. There's obviously going to be a lot of land resources going into the land buildings. And we're going to look at new possible consumables for the next set of cards as well. So even though items and spells, the ultimate goal of land are still a while out, we want to make sure that people are not just hoarding land resources with no end goal in mind. There's going to be all sorts of new things that will actually give you benefits in other parts of the game that can be craftable for land. And like we've done with the current ones that we have, if people don't have land, that's no problem. We want to make it as easy as possible, just like one-click purchase what you need with DEC or credits, and then behind the scenes, it just buys them off the non-card market from other players who've crafted them. So, we have literally in all the designs I do, I have consumables in big letters written at the top. So I just make sure that we put those in. I think that we had the land cards that we did recently. Those were awesome, and I think that's a good stepping stone to do more of that. And a lot of players have asked for, well, can we craft game playable cards on land, not just use land to craft land cards. So yes, we're looking at that and all different ways we can do that. So yeah, the overriding thing behind all this stuff we're doing is how can we allow land to start creating pieces of all of this, which is the goal of land. Use your old cards on the land to create new stuff in the game. All right, so I just went through a whole lot of stuff really fast. I'm going to take a breather, maybe drink some water. I don't know if any of you guys want to chime in a little bit on any of that before we go to the Q&A session.
I'll jump in. I think that's extremely significant what you said about the buildings, and make sure everybody understands. Everything that we do right now is still going to stay the same when it comes to resources. So if you want to produce grain, you'll still, it's 5 cards, 100,000 PP. The big gold alpha, cards get the big benefit, and that all stays the same. Nothing's going to change there. But when it comes to buildings, one of the things we haven't had is the ability to compete, like Matt said, for somebody like just coming in and don't have all those cards. And they have a 5,000 production power plot or a 10,000 production power plot, which means they're producing 1/10 or 1/20th of somebody who's been here.
It's probably a common plot too, so it's even less than that.
Exactly. So with the new buildings and the way the structure that's going to be, like anybody can go into business. The way I look at them is they're factories, right? So whether it's a potion factory or a smelter, but it's just a factory. Right. So these factories, like anybody can get involved with, right? You can go buy a common plot. You can get the required cards to get to 100,000 PP. A lot of those 1,000 PP and 1,500 and 2,000 PP plots will go a long way when there's 50 slots, right, to get you there. So, this really kind of changes the game for anybody wanting to come in and essentially be an owner of something in the game, which is, truly, like I said, it's a factory. So I think this is going to be a big deal. So the more factories we have, the more demand for resources we have. It just, filters all the way through.
Yeah, and I guess the idea is like there's going to be stuff for everybody on land, right? So if you're one of the players who has all the alpha gold foil legendaries and legendary plots and all that, great. You are going to want to produce the natural resources or magic, any of the resources that are take advantage of the land rarity. But and that's all we had for the moment. But then we're also going to have the ability, if you just have a few common plots, you don't have super old rare cards, no problem. You just want to go where you'll be able to be successful, which is going to be in the new buildings. And then it's also there's going to be lots of different buildings. So hopefully there's a lot of decisions of like, well, what do you want to build? Because it's not like, okay, well, I have a forest plot, so I'm limited. Like you can only produce wood from natural resources. You should be able to produce pretty much all the buildings on your forest plot. So there'll be a lot of choices. You got to look at the market. What type of resources are abundant or not abundant in my region? What other buildings are there in the region? That type of stuff. So that's the type of stuff I really look forward to. Also, is like people being able to figure out what the need is, and kind of fill that niche, just like in real world businesses. Kind of find an arbitrage opportunity. Hey, there's no these kind of stores in this area. That's an opportunity. That's what we want to see for land. All right.
Yeah. And I would just say also we kind of glossed over the splinter vibes. And Blaze, do you want to go ahead and explain what that is and what are the 4 different ways they're going to be distributed?
Yeah, let me see if I have it on top of my head at this hour, but no, it's going to be exciting. So it's an option. It's not taken away from our default, but if somebody wants to switch over to Splinter Vibes, it's going to be an option. And it's one more thing we can give away. So we're going to have 100 NFTs of each track, and I think we're around 70 tracks for Series 1. And then the distribution method is we're gonna kind of sprinkle it around. So we have some foundation songs or the frontier cards. So we'll be doing 2 cards into jackpots for that. Then we are also going to have it where you can craft them with land resources. We're going to have 4 NFTs there that you can craft from land resources or to be able to mint them in game. And then what else do we have, Dave?
You're going to have some in the
shop
loot boxes and the minor loot boxes so that all the smaller players have an opportunity to get one on a fair playing field with everybody. I think you have 4 in there. Is that right?
Yeah. In the minor chest, we're going to have 4 there, and then we're going to have 2 in the shop. So you're going to be able to purchase those with Glint or DEC.
Right. Yep. So, and, launching that, like, we're pretty excited. I've been watching the testers that have been listening to the songs, and sometimes it's the first time they've even had a chance to really listen to them, which is fun. And they like them. Like, they're really cool. It's not going to be for everybody, but, they'll be tradable. So if you get one and you don't like it, you can put it on the market and sell it to somebody who does. And the way it's going to work is you'll have the ability to enable those to play in your game. So if it's your thing and you want to listen to that while you're playing battles, knock yourself out. Get whatever songs you want to listen to and play. And we're at the discovery phase. Like, we don't really know how to price this stuff. So we're going to start with 12 of the 70, and we're going to put it out in those 4 different ways. And then we'll see, what the reaction is and how the community feels about it. So we're kind of in that price discovery phase. And then the other 58, we'll decide what to do in a couple of weeks after that. So we've already made them. We're now at the point where we want to kind of see what the reaction is. So I know Blaze and I are pretty excited about it, and the testers are pretty excited about it, and we'll see what you guys think here pretty soon, a couple of weeks.
It's a fun little project, that's for sure. I don't know that I can recall any other game that's done something like that, but it's
yeah, and we had a lot of community members participate in it as well. So their songs are in game. So I know our Faded Glory, we got him a song for Nightmare. B Jangles did a bunch. Clay, Tails even dropped a few. See if we can get them in too. But yeah, super fun.
Yeah, I blast. I mean, we've had a lot of community participation in it. So and it's pretty fun. I mean, if it does go over well, like, we can do more. We are going to limit each song to 100. So there is some collectability to it. Once those 100 are gone, 100 people will have it, and that will be it. There won't be.
Yeah, same with the skins and everything else too, right? Like, over time, we'll see how that goes. But if somebody's looking to collect all of them, then that's going to be fun to see the secondary market. Same with the skins, right? Like, some people go really heavy on getting full collections of all the skins, and we go back and as we increase our player base, everybody who participated in these events over the 2025 fourth quarter, they're going to have all the rare skins that a lot of people are going to want to chase. So you guys are the market now. So super cool.
Yeah, and I guess one more thing I'd like to say, Matt, before you go to Q&A. Mm-hmm. 2025, like, people is, can you do a recap kind of thing and look forward? In 2025, I think we did a lot. We put out a lot of new things. We put out, I think, things that were well received. We did well on the set that we did. We brought our expenses in line where we needed. I mean, we did a lot of things to manage our business and put us in a good spot relative, to the future. So, and definitely relative to all the other people in our space. It's not very hard to figure out, we're in a tough space right now. The Web3 gaming space, there's a lot of casualties, day in and day out. It's almost like every day you can see that happening. And we just put our head down, and, we got guys like Gator and the whole dev team, like, they're just cranking out stuff. Nate's team, they're putting out, like, unbelievable amount of stuff. Like, Nate feels like he can't catch his breath, so he got a day and a half off. But Monday, he'll be back at it, making things happen, and then everybody else as well, on the team, Blaze and everybody else. That's, in my opinion, extremely positive, because if you can build when everybody else is shrinking, you put yourself in a great position. So I'm really happy with where we are. today going into 2026. And I think 2025 was an excellent year that we're gonna look back and we're gonna say that was a nice stepping stone, for what can happen next. So it won't take much, if the next set sale continues to improve like this set sale did from the past. If we had the same kind of growth rate, we'll be in a much different position going forward. So we're not there yet, but we're certainly moving in the right direction.
Yeah, and if anyone does want a recap of last year, we did that on the December town hall. I'm pretty sure we went through the large list of things that were released, in 2025, and that was a lot. So if you didn't see that one, check it out. Go down memory lane to see what all happened last year.
Yeah, and also Bronze Dragon did a really good recap too. So head over to YouTube, Bronze Dragon, and even After Sound did one. So community's dishing it out too. So good stuff.
Awesome.
Hey,
I'll throw in the quick
survival mode. What's up, Perry?
Yeah, I was going to throw in a quick 2 cents too before we go to Q&A. So, well, that may be quite a lengthy list of stuff we've got planned for the first quarter or first half of 2026 or so. It's by no means an exhaustive list. Dave and Blaze have all kinds of stuff they want done. We'll be getting in as we can. So just because we didn't say something here doesn't mean it may not come out this year. There may be more surprises throughout the year. It's a better way to phrase it.
Yeah, Matt, I liked your roadmap with like 3 things on there, 4 things, because the community's like, wait, what do you mean? Where's this? Where's that? That was pretty fun to see their reaction. We should have almost kept it at that. And then, as we normally do, every week we come out with something new. So, team's doing a great job.
I mean, I guess that was really a list of like stuff I'm actively working on. In some capacity, that was pretty much the list. Yeah.
There's one thing I want to announce with survival mode. I forget how fun that was. Like I really enjoyed when it was out, like, battling Jeff or, figuring out who had the weaker sets going on. But I haven't even put in my brain like Conclave Arcana. I'm just now maxing out some like regular foil cards. I'm going to want duplicates. And also I know I'm delegating Royal Eagle. I'm sorry, man, but I think I'm delegating a duplicate Lorcus. I might be pulling that for you when survival comes out. So yeah, there's all kinds of fun coming around the corner, and that's one of them. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, I mean, I've been collecting, a lot of black foils, but I haven't been getting rid of the other ones. So yeah, they're going to be useful. All right. Let's start the Q&A session while I'm waiting for some questions to come in. Although I see them coming in already, but I'm going to take a second before I start answering the questions that are coming in to just do another reminder of something that Dave talked about earlier on, is that there is less than 2 months left for the Conclave Arcana set sale. I think it's around March 10th or so. The packs are going to be gone. There's already not too many left. And every day as the packs get burned, you have higher and higher chances of getting the chase cards, the arcanes and the Yaba cards in all of your packs. So come mid-March, when all the packs are sold out, and there's not a lot of, it's not like Chaos Legion where there's a bunch of people with unopened packs sitting around. Almost all the packs that have been purchased are opened. So once they're sold out, the DAO now only has a relatively small amount after that proposal. And as Dave said, I think there's roughly 90% of the chase cards still available in the pool. So the chances are going to increase over time as more and more packs get opened that you will get one of those cards. But you have to have the packs. So, our hope is that this will really drive some, FOMO at the end of the sale over the next less than 2 months. So just keep that in mind. It's a new thing. We've never done it before. It's pretty exciting. I myself am definitely going to pick up some more packs before that time. To try to just pull some of those cards. So I just wanted to throw that out there as a reminder. If anyone happens to forget.
Are you getting close to completing the collection?
Go ahead, Go ahead, Blaze.
Are you getting close to completing your Black Whale collection?
Close. I mean, there's a lot of cards for it, and now we got the reward cards also. So I'm closer than I was, but I still have a long way to go.
All right.
And the one thing I was going to say, if you don't really understand what we're talking about, like let's say you're not, like deeply entrenched in all the economics and all that, feel free to DM me, send a DM, and I'll explain it, deeper one-on-one. So it is going to be a pretty powerful dynamic. You are going to wish you understood it. Whether you want to do it or not is like up to each person, but you should at least want to understand it because it is going to start getting pretty exciting pretty fast. So I don't mind taking the time to help you understand it if you don't feel, you fully grasp why.
Yeah. But basically, as more and more packs are opened and as they sell out, you have higher and higher chance of getting those cards in your packs when you open them. It's a TLDR version. All right, I am going to jump into some questions now. We got King Arminius is asking, is the guild overhaul going to be released in the first or second half of 2026? I'll break this question up into a few parts. We are going to shoot for the first half. That's all I'm going to say there. There's a lot of stuff we're working on, so we'll see. But we're going to shoot for the first half. Will any new buildings be introduced? And we also see new guild banners that are more in line with the current aesthetic of the game. So let me start with, will any new buildings be introduced? Yes, I think it's just going to be a general complete overhaul of guilds. So I think things are going to change a lot. So the current buildings are probably going to change. And there'll probably be new buildings in addition that focus on all different things, like I mentioned, different ways that people can contribute at all different levels of play. We will also be figuring out the plan for migrating to make sure that we're not just going to say like, okay, you put a bunch of money into this stuff, now it's gone. We will not do that. That's a big part of the process, is coming up with a migration plan from the old to the new. Then will we also see new guild banners that are more in line with the aesthetic of the game? A lighter version of the avatar creator for creating unique guild banners would be cool. Yes, cosmetics are going to be a huge part of guilds. So we can do 100 cooler things with the guild banners and designs. I want to do as much as we possibly can. I want there to be cool designs and effects for your guild banners that get unlocked by completing different things or upgrading your guild or all those things. Maybe you can get a new hat for your avatar. Maybe you could unlock a new cool thing for your guild that you could donate to the guild or bring with you to other guilds. There's all sorts of really cool cosmetic ideas, but that's 100% going to be part of the guild design, is making sure your guilds look cool. I also want to include like a real guild. We have a guild leaderboard now, but it's like not useful for anything. So I want to have like a real guild leaderboard with rewards and everything that the guilds actually seriously compete for, and like different tiers probably, so even lower level guilds can compete for things too. So a lot of stuff with the guilds. Question from Bitcoin Sig: when do you plan to do more with Rooney? The original plan was to allow combining for rare attributes to make them deflationary. Why not make the rarity of the Rooney matter in some form in the new projects? They have better trade velocity and raises the project profile. Yeah, Rooney. One of the things I also do, in addition to writing consumables in large text, with all these designs, is to list out all kind of the different things in the game that we want to, like all the different tokens and resources, and Rooney is one of them. So I don't know exactly how it's going to be, but when we're designing the guilds, possibly even the boss battles in the campaign mode, additional things on land with the buildings and all that, like Rooney is one of the things that we plan to consider and try to make sure those have more utility and value in the game. I guess that's all I can say at this point, and until we have more details. Bunch of questions from Rudy. Will you all be changing your town hall frames to match your exemplars in the future? Maybe not a bad idea. Ron's the one who does all the frames, so we'll have to work with him. Maybe we could just replace all of us with the avatars too, and like have it do the talking. What was that, Ron? Nate's gonna do it. All right, Ron is talking in our ears that something Nate's working on. So there you go. Yeah, a lot of times I don't know about these things, so like I just come on the town hall, and sometimes there's new cool stuff. Like awesome. So we'll see. A question about the guild brawls. Will guild players be both defending and attacking each brawl, or are we deciding defenders and attackers? Yeah, the plan is you both defend and attack, because I think that's fun, to be able to do both. And yeah, you should be able to use the same cards in both of those. It's not like if you use a defending card, then you can't use it for attacking. But all these things are like this is like kind of the idea and the design, and we're gonna build it out, and then we'll see how it goes. There'll probably be a bunch of stuff that's going to change. We might put out stuff, and then players have good ideas that we didn't think about, and we'll do that. So it's just the initial thought process is everyone both defends and attacks. Again, like kind of Clash of Clans-ish, but with Splinterlands gameplay, obviously. All right, so third question from Rudy. In the past, guild brawls have been set up to allow low-level players guild with high-level players without penalty, thanks to league level caps. Will that continue, or guilds that have low-level players going to be held back in the new format? No, that's one of the big things we want to focus on, is making sure that newer or lower level players can really participate and benefit guilds even more. So I think the goal is to have that like higher level guilds are going to even want some lower level players like actively, because there's different things that they're able to do. I think the goal is that like for guilds, we just want you're going to want the most active people. It's not going to matter what level they're at as much, but you're going to want people who are active and doing all the different things, because that's how you're going to improve your guild. So yeah, that's we don't want like low level players to ever feel like they're not welcome or able to contribute. Question, team, how was your holiday vacation while on break? From Quantum Nachos. I'm going to take a breather and let some of you guys talk about your vacations. Any volunteers? All right, I'm going to call on Blaze. He looked like he had a good vacation.
Yeah, I had my vacation earlier in December. My wife and I went to Lisbon, kind of half vacation, half medical. But well, it's I live on an island with very little people. There's 5,000 people on my island, so nice low key here. So it's good to go to the big city once in a while and spend some money. But other than that, around the holidays, yeah, I mean, Dave and I were on calls if that's vacation. Then yeah, no, it was a fun Christmas with family, but low key, and took Christmas Day and enjoyed it with family. But other than that, we were doing fun stuff with Splinterlands.
Cool. Well, it sounds like you have 4,999 new Splinterlands players to recruit.
Yeah, I'm trying.
On your
Trying
island.
to get them off the tractors, man, and out of the banana orchards and playing Splinterlands. But no, we got the real farmers here.
Oh, awesome. Investy, everyone always jokes that you don't take a vacation and you work the whole time. Hopefully that's not true. I don't track what you do, but I know you do a lot of work. But how was your holidays?
They were fine. I flew out and visited my parents and worked while I was there. I took a couple days off, but yeah, it was a fine holiday. Pretty quiet.
I did give him a break on not the first trip. The first trip, he still had plenty of things that needed to be done. But the second trip, I was proud of myself. I did not bug him for 2 full days. So that was good. And yeah, Blaze, myself, and Clay spent a lot of time coming up with all kinds of ideas. And Blaze was talking about spec sheets all over the place. We have so many ideas, I can't write them down anymore. So, now Blaze is now making spec sheets because, we need to get this stuff down on paper. So anyway, yeah, it was fun. I mean, a lot of creativity. And excitement for the new year and all the things we've talked about today. I mean, that's maybe 20% of what we can do for the year. So there's still a lot to go. So,
and I'd like to give a quick shout out to iBlast too. I was introduced to him not too long ago and had a couple of meetings with him. But you talk about a community member that's obsessed like we are. That guy has so many ideas, cool ideas too, and he's delivering some cool stuff. So looking forward to doing stuff with him. But yeah, we have, in addition to an obsessed team, we have an obsessed community too, which I love. So we're building this out.
Yeah, I have meetings all week with different groups of people, 2, 3, 5, 10, people at different meetings. And the passion for the game is just absolutely unbelievable. So we got something special here.
Yeah, I mean, I saw that. I think it was Splinterlands land guy posted on X that he was like in a cafe and like met 2 random people that had worked for FTX and like asked them if they owned crypto, and they said they owned Ether and SPS. I was like, this is not real. Like, you just made this up. Like, that there's like things like, of all the things that never happened, this never happened the most. But he says it's a true story, which is just like, I don't know what I would do if if someone said
Hey,
that.
there's a thread going on that now. Like there's community members want to know all about it. So there's still
I'm one of
actively
them
coming.
that wants to know all about it because it was like the craziest thing. All right. Yeah, and so myself, yeah, no, good holidays. Holidays are actually very crazy with just all sorts of family stuff and running around here and there and doing all sorts of things. So I'm kind of like happy that things are calmed down and back to normal now. School's back in session, all that stuff. But yeah, it was a good diversion for a little while there. The next question from Bitcoin Sig: can you make it so I can still use my Rooney as my profile picture when I battle? One of the things that was in the initial design that didn't get in was to allow you to show the Rooney as your badge, as one of the badges on your avatar. I think that's one of the things we should try to make sure we don't forget about and get in there. I don't think that's exactly what you're asking, but I think that'll be the first thing that we do to allow you to highlight your Rooney there. But possibly if people really want to just not use their avatar and still use their Rooney as their profile picture, we can look into doing that. It shouldn't be technically difficult. Let's see. Question also from Bitcoin sake: will guilds be able to own and delegate card assets so members can use guild card assets for battles? I'm not sure if we're gonna have. Currently, I'm not designing any type of like guild assets. I mean, obviously, players can delegate cards to other members of their guild without, with what we currently have right now. But if anyone has specific ideas or ways that could be done differently, that would be cool. Put them in suggestions or bring them up, and we'll consider them. Let's see. A question about, can I ask questions on Twitch or does it have to be on the Town Hall channel on Discord? It looks like Ron will bring them over from the different channels. Is that right, Ron? Yeah. The fact that it made it here means you can indeed ask questions on Twitch and YouTube, and the amazing Ron Don will make sure they get to us. Question from McVeer: will guild upgrades switch from DEC to Glint? I feel like if the token used for upgrading is just game currency and not tradable, people are more likely to build the guild up. I mean, yes, that's the. I mean, not necessarily from DEC to Glint, but I want to move away from like pay money to upgrade buildings, to more participate actively in the game to upgrade buildings. So whether that's going to be Glint or something else, I don't know. There might be buildings that work all different ways. But the goal is, we want people obviously to spend money in the game, but we want them to spend money, buying packs, buying cards on the market, buying, land resources, SPS, all that stuff, not like just paying to upgrade guilds, because that's also how you get this kind of big divide between the big spenders and their guilds have everything, and then like everyone else just can't catch up and compete. So we want to change that. Have everyone, focus. We have a lot of other cool stuff that you can buy in the game, and guilds are going to be a lot more activity focused going forward. I mean, this doesn't have question in front of it, but our Faded Glory wants to know how Blaze lives on a random island but still has better internet connection than Dave.
Yeah, I ask my internet company that all the time. So yeah, I don't know why either.
I don't know, Starlink, But another question from Rudy: will exemplars end up with level caps for tournaments and brawls, or will a high-level exemplar be playable in bronze tournaments and brawls? Well, for tournaments, only tournaments that allow exemplars will allow exemplars. So we're not going to have any level caps for exemplars in the tournaments, but you can see whether or not exemplars are allowed in a certain tournament and decide whether or not you want to participate in it. And there'll be plenty of tournaments that don't allow exemplars that'll have the level caps as normal. For brawls, they're going to be designed around the exemplars, and so there's not going to be specifically level caps for them, but we want to make it such that when you're effectively choosing who you attack with different parameters. So you're going to choose people who have, defending teams that you think you can beat. So you won't just go and attack someone with a ridiculous exemplar. So that should hopefully work out that way. You get to choose your defender in this case.
Mega Marcus.
Oh, Mega Marcus, thank you. Yeah. It's hard because I also try to read all the stuff and then I get, thoughts and ideas. Why do you offer the DAO all the revenue of the escalation sales? Isn't it a sign that you don't have the trust in the success of your next product? No, that's 100% not at all why. I think I've talked about this before, but it's good to reiterate. The goal, like in my mind, what we're trying to do with this whole thing is build a game where all of the money goes to the players, right? That's how it should be in my mind. This is different. It's scary for a lot of people, but that's what we're trying to do here. Is have like it's a player owned game, right? So everything should go to the players through the DAO, and then the DAO effectively hires us or other people if they want to build out the things that we want to build out. So it has nothing to do in trusting the success. It's more trusting the player base that they will continue to work with us to build out the game. So yeah, I mean the goal overall is just to have the funds go to the DAO hire us, and then if the company needs money for different things, we go to the DAO and work out a deal that hopefully the players agree to. So yeah, if anyone thinks it's like somehow we don't trust the success, that's not it remotely. And it's also the only way in this case we wanted to do something that was SPS focused, and in this case that was the best way to structure that for a lot of reasons. Question from Zekrom: will we see more skins for some of the older cards too, like Chaos Legion, Untamed, etc.? Yeah, that's a good question. We don't have Nate on, but I don't know if
we know the
For
answer.
sure. Yeah,
We
for
know
sure.
the answer. Go ahead, Blaze.
No, for sure. I mean, I think there's already one right around the corner. I think I saw something yesterday in a meeting. So
Yeah, all the cards at some point will not only just have one skin, but we'll have multiple skins for some cards. So skins are really cool and a way to spice up the game. And no, I mean obviously we're gonna have more demand for something currently in print that people are using, so they'll see it more. But that doesn't stop us from, making skins for the old stuff.
Yeah, cool. I'd like to get some old card skins too, because those are, the newer cards also have the newer artwork. So if you're going back, those cards will get a big upgrade in artwork if we
Yep.
use skins. So that'll be cool. Let's see. Question from Tide Pod Oreos. Will there be a raffle or auction for the Arcane Cloveria in the near future?
Yeah, it's right there. I dropped the links or the dates.
Yeah, I was pretty sure oh, yes, that's right. Okay, I see that now. Yeah, so there are the dates. Gold foil auction, gold foil fortune draw starts February 17th. Black foil auction begins March 13th. So, the next couple months, those will be happening. Question from Rudy again. Do we have to wait until the guild reboot to use exemplars and brawls, or will they show up in the old format before it's gone forever? The plan was to wait for the reboot to use them, but I guess we'll see if potentially it's going to be a longer time before the guild reboot is ready, and people want that. I guess we could do it again. I don't think it should be technically a big deal. So, just talked about community run game. If that's something you guys want, let us know. Maybe it can only be available in certain phrase or something like that. But I wouldn't mind. My exemplars, I think I'm up to level 82 at this point. So like to bash on some people with him. Question from Quantum Nachos. Is it possible the entirety of Land 2.0 will be finished by the end of 2026, or is that too ambitious? I mean, I would like for that to happen, is all I'll say. I've said a lot of things in the past about when things for Land will be done, and it's not happened. So I definitely am not going to say that Land 2.0 is going to be finished this year, but we're going to try. Question from Mega Marcus. I like your answer to my trust in the product question. Since a lot of the team members are whales in the games, what does it take that you don't need a salary and just live from the game? I mean, it's gonna take obviously, Splinterlands to do very well, but and development will just be a side job. Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of us are taking a lot lower than market salaries. Some voluntarily, some not voluntarily, but we're very happy that everyone who's here still sticks around. I think that's pretty much the main reason why Splinterlands is still around when a lot of other games aren't. Is because the people working here are, a lot of them were players first and just like this product, and continue to work on it despite the financial difficulties over the past few years. I think that would be fantastic for us to be able to just live off the game. And I don't know if anything remotely like 2021 happens again, which isn't at all out of the question. That could certainly be possible. Like people like Cryptomancer come to mind if Land 2.0 happens and things really take off. That's certainly possible to do. So yes, that would be fantastic. I can't speak for every single person, but yeah, we'll see.
Oh, and like if SPS goes to $1, we just get our 3 wins in for the day and we're done, or what?
Yeah, right. I mean, if those type of things happen, it's entirely possible that many of the people on the team and in the community, but also the company will have many more resources in that case, right? If the things are going well, the company will be able to actually pay people market salaries, and then hopefully hire a lot more people. I would love to be able to increase. We've talked about decreasing expenses, and Dave has done an amazing job at decreasing expenses. But I very much look forward to the day where we can start increasing expenses, and just do it a little more carefully and than we've done in the past. So I'm going to give it another couple minutes. If anyone has any last minute questions, throw them in there. I think I forgot to mention, as I usually do, if you don't have a chance to get your question in right now during the town hall event, throw it in the town hall channel. I am working on doing better at reminders to go and respond to all of them. I think I got to all the questions that have been posted since the last town hall before this one started today. And I have reminders every week now going forward to just go in there and answer questions. Also, the other team members often jump in and answer questions. I think you also get a better, more thought out response if we're not doing it live on the air. We have more time to think through it, although apparently I still forget a bunch of things in the roadmap. So, take that with a grain of salt. But either way, again, we talked about in December the huge list of things that happened in 2025. If you missed that, go check out that town hall recording. Earlier this town hall, I sort of went on a big rant talking about all the ideas and things of the major projects that we're planning for this year. Then Investigator went in and said that those are just the large projects, and there is going to be many more small projects that we get in here and there when we can. I'm still always amazed at every Tuesday, just a huge list of stuff happens. I'm like, wow, where does all this stuff come from? But it comes from you guys usually. The suggestions, the feedback. So keep it up. And then I guess I don't know. I see some typing happening. So I was going to say I'm going to wait for the typing, and then we'll end the Q&A session and kind of wrap it up here.
Yeah, we get a lot of ideas from the community, so keep it coming. Especially the constructive ones are the best. When you guys come up and say, hey, can we do this or can we do that or can we change that? Like those kind of positive ways to try to make the game better are definitely welcome. So keep bringing it. Like I said, I have a lot of meetings with people on a weekly basis, so that's helpful. But I think it's one of the things that separates us from a lot of projects. We definitely take feedback, and sometimes we have to say you're right, we need to do it better. But most of the time, we're learning from the experience and making the game better. So it's a pretty cool project. And going back to Matt's point about us living off the project, there's a lot of people, like you said, that are making way below market salaries, and I don't want to gloss over that. Like Matt said, I did a good job on reducing expenses, which I'm happy with, what we did. But part of the reason why it was able to be done is the quality of people we have here. Like every single person is willing to sacrifice to make this project succeed. And that is something you don't find in a lot of, in many companies. Like it is truly incredible. So, like I said, I'm excited about 2026, and it's because of the quality of the people we have and the dedication and the community at the same time.
Yeah. That's like I said, that's why we're here, and most other projects are not in this space. Okay, let's cut off the questions at this point. We had a few more come in. We'll get to those, and then we'll wrap it up. Thank you to everyone that attended. As always, Mega Market says, with more game modes in the future, how can I time manage this? The day just has 24 hours. Well, you got to cut out all the extraneous stuff like sleeping, eating, showering, going outside. These are things you could shave a lot of hours off if you really work at it. So yeah. King Arminius. Oh, there's a question from MF and Trucker. If this wasn't already asked because I was late, will there be 6v6 exemplar battles? Yeah, no, that's a good question. One of the things I was looking at, this probably won't be like for the first boss monster campaigns, but there was a suggestion. I forget who suggested it, so I apologize to them if they're listening. But that instead of just letting it be like single player, make a team with your exemplar, what if you could get like 5 or 6 people together that all have to use their exemplars and make them work together to beat a really strong boss? So I think that is an awesome idea. And like I said, may not be the first one we get out, but having a group boss battle would be awesome. And then maybe at some point we could have group versus group battles too, like you're suggesting. So, all
And
that stuff is on the table.
We already have a spec sheet for that.
Okay. Apparently there's a
So-
spec sheet for that.
Yeah, I would say another thing about the whole PvE experience, it's really exciting. And Matt's talking about the boss monsters, and this is just one. We're gonna have a learning curve, to do it right. Like everything that we ever do at Splinterlands, like we're gonna start and we'll see where it is, and we'll keep iterating. And I can see a world where we have a lot of different PvE modes and ways to play down the road. So whatever we start with, you can bet it will get better. So I'm excited about what we have, and then I'm also excited about where it's going to lead.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's a good always just reminder. We iterate quickly. A Stack 4 is asking, I'm hoping we could add Glint or an equivalent to Foundations and a Game Pass. Yeah, the reason, I guess it would have to be something different. The reason we didn't add Glint to Frontier mode is just because currently Glint is only, you can purchase cards that can't be used in Frontier mode. So it would be really weird if you play in Frontier mode and get the stuff and then you buy cards that you can't use in that mode. So, we could potentially look to add something different. I'm not sure. So it was kind of a little difficult why it didn't get in. And as far as the Game Pass, yeah, lots of people have talked about Game Pass. It's something that's always been kind of in the back of our mind, and in my opinion, it's like kind of waiting till the right time to do it. I feel like we've had like all these other projects that I've always felt like, well, these are more important, so like let's not do a Game Pass yet. But it's in there as something to consider. And if there's like a good opportunity where it's like, yes, now it makes sense to add a Game Pass, um, compared to all of our other priorities, we're gonna do it. Question from Rudy: do exemplars have no bloodline? That's a good question that I don't know the answer to. I mean, like if you pick an orc or a human, does it count as an orc or a human?
Not currently. I actually know because this came up as probably a bug. We were supposed to follow up and see what we want to do. Is it supposed to be an orc? Right now, they're exemplar, which is its own bloodline of just that card. But we could make them be what you pick as human orc. There are gameplay implications to that because we have all the bloodline stuff.
Yeah.
So,
All right. Well, for now, they have their own bloodline that does not interact with anything else other than the bloodline abilities. But yeah, we could potentially change that in the future. Okay. Looks like we hit the end of the questions. Also because we cut off the questions. But thank you everybody who participates. Thank you everyone who asked the questions. Like we said earlier with the whole winning best Web3 trading card game on Play to Earn, that's because of the community. You guys make that stuff happen. As far as like, promoting the game, I've been doing, trying to get on X a lot more, to following everybody, liking stuff, sharing things. I'm like floored to just see how many people there are posting about Splinterlands and excited about all the different stuff. I mean, that's, no offense to Blaze, but he can't compete with all you guys, independently going out and making a fuss out there. So, we're going to do the best we can here, but, you know, you guys are probably the biggest resource that we have available is the player base. And as we talked about, unlike most other games, you guys directly benefit from when the game does well. So the funds go to the DAO, the funds go directly to the tokens and the assets that you guys hold. So it's not like you're going out there and promoting a game and then the CEO of the game and the investors are the ones that do well. The community or you are going to benefit yourself from if this game does well over the years. So just keep that in mind because it's so very different that I feel like even a ton of people that I talk to that are avid Splinterlands players for a long time like still don't really understand this concept because it's just so different. So I like to try to really hammer it home as often as I can. Like it's your game, it's your project. Think of it like you are, you know, you are an investor in a company. You know, when it does well, you do well. Um, so the more that you all can do out there promoting it, talking to random people in coffee shops, um, you know, it all ends up benefiting all of us together. So thank you so much. As a couple reminders, we got Escalation coming out in less than a month, February 10th. Conclave Arcana is selling out in less than 2 months, right around March 10th. Um, the packs are going to have more and more chances of getting those chase cards as we get closer to selling out. So if you want to try for some, make sure to get them. And then all sorts of other stuff that we talked about that's coming up, hopefully over the next 6 months or so. Thank you again to the team who's doing more with less year after year. And we will be back again in February to talk with everybody. So thank you, everyone, and we'll see you in a month.